Friday night, and the drinks are on my mind. The decision's set in, one that will churn your skin. The lover's right, let them have their time. And I have this notion, in motion. You thought I did not know. Did you think I would let it go? Oh no. And in time, yes, I think it's absurd, but until then you'll leave your words. Well, lay on, lay on. Now it's time to defend your lies, lies you've been feeding me all this time. And will you reoffend? Oh, darling, you say that you are innocent, but your words, they seem irrelevant, but still play on. Now it's time to defend your lies, lies you've been feeding me all this time. And will you reoffend? Oh, darling, oh, you have reached your lover's end. No more will we make pretend like we something to fight for. Oh. We had nothing to fight for. We had nothing to fight for. We had nothing to fight for. We had nothing to fight for.
Good afternoon, race fans. It's UrbanPyrate here, and this is the final stint of the ERF special event at Watkins Glen. And I can tell you what, the 3 stints so far have been absolute doozies. And right now there is a great battle going on in stint 3 as they're closing it out, ready for these guys to get cracking. There's Johnny Waffle from MRL. He's sitting in the pits. He's waiting for his teammate to come in so he can get going. I can tell you now, if you're not watching stint 3, there is battles up and down the racetrack, particularly for 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, around that kind of area. But Welsh Great currently leads. He will be first in. It's, I think, lap 66, 67. So just a couple of laps remaining here at Watkins Glen. It's been 6 hours of racing to this point, and it comes down to these final 2 hours here at Watkins Glen in New York City. Great racetrack. Nearly 3.5 miles, 5.5 kilometres, 11 corners. The current race lap record is held by Sebastian Bourdais. He did that in the Dallara DW12 in 2017 with a 1:23.9. I can tell you now, you won't be seeing lap times quite that quick, but don't be surprised to be seeing lap times around the 1:43s, maybe even the 1:42s from some of these quick guys. There's been a number of different strategies employed by these drivers over the course of the past 6 hours. Some have been absolutely brilliant, some not so much. Rules are as follows: you must use the mediums, you must use the racing hards, you must do at least one racing lap. So that's an out lap, a racing lap, and an in lap on the hard compound tyres for it to count. Have there been one or two over the last few stints? I haven't quite followed that. I've noticed a few things, but I don't know what the situation is with that. I'm sure the guys from ERF will have a look into that. So there goes Welshie. He's going into the pits, which means that his teammate will soon be disappearing out. Question is, who's his teammate? That is the very, very good question. I should probably know that information. So there we go. There's all the information out. So we're just waiting for the information to filter through, and then they're allowed to go. I'm not seeing anyone leave just yet, which is a little bit concerning. Oh, there we go. There he goes. There is Clarkey. Out he goes into the lead of this race. He's the first one out. He's opting to go out and get rid of those hard compound tyres early doors. That seems to me to be the best strategy I've seen thus far, because the hard tyres really aren't very quick at all. No grip at all around here, so you really want to get rid of them as soon as you possibly can. Waiting for the next one out, and I apologise for not jumping in with roses. Our setup is slightly different. Lucky Sissio, he's in the pits, the Belgian driver. So the next driver out will be his teammate, and his teammate is there, Randy Moore, and out he comes on to the racetrack. That's your second driver. The gap between him and Clarkey, 40 seconds. He has 2 hours to try and take some chunks out of that 40-second lead. Lot of work for Randy Moore to do. Good luck, James. Stargroup will be racing soon. And well done, Jay, who raced in stint number 2 for Black Flag, of course. For Black Flag, of course. Who else would it be for? So there we have it. I just need to do a slight adjustment. There we go. Happy with that. Yes, so you'll notice this is not on the ERF page. That is purely down to just issues of string keys and stuff. But you will be able to find this on the ERF page straight after the race. I will download it and it will get uploaded onto the ERF YouTube page. All the ERF links can be found down there in the description. Don't forget to drop us a like and subscribe, but more importantly, give a like and subscribe to ERF who put this event on. Absolutely phenomenal event. This ERF series, absolutely brilliant. This one in particular I'm really, really fond of. Don't forget, in July coming up is the 24 Hours at Nürburgring, which that is massively oversubscribed already. But do put if you're interested, you want to get a team in, there's always an opportunity for somebody to nick in on the qualifying. So waiting for car number 3 to come in to the pits from lobby number 3. At the moment it looks like it's going to be Resistance, the Italian driver. Not quite sure how far back he is. I'm not getting that information through from the current Twitch stream. I don't know how far out of sync I am, to be fair, so who knows? Who knows? But it looks to me that he's not quite in yet. But we've got one thing I will say: we've had incredibly stable lobbies this time round. I know we had a few issues last time out when we were at Bathurst. A few people disconnected, and obviously there's one big event we won't talk about. But it seems to be that these lobbies have been incredibly stable. I don't think we've lost anyone really to a disconnection. It's been pretty much a full field all the way through, and the driving standards have been absolutely phenomenal. Little bit elbowsy maybe in race 1 from a couple of drivers, but I think people were just feeling their way really. I don't think in the 6 hours of racing we've had thus far that I've seen anything that I would say is steward worthy, which is obviously very, very good to for the stewards. They don't have to look back through 8 hours of footage to try and find the one big mistake. But I'll tell you what is the most amazing thing, that it's been so well organised and so well on time, and all the drivers have been where they're supposed to be, and other than I think one driver made a little error with going out and then cost himself a bit of time, but other than that everyone has been absolutely bang on. We won't get a representative time for a couple of laps just yet. There's your next driver out, Toto Scatanetto of Italy. He comes out a lap down on Clarkey, so Clarkey on he's just ahead of him, but he is a lap ahead as well, so that shows the difference actually between the front 2 and the rest of the pack. As Toto Wolff, not the real one, out he comes in 4th position, only 4.7 seconds behind that Italian driver in that McLaren. So he's gonna, if he can get the right pace, he can really trouble them. I want to keep an eye on what tyres everyone's starting on as they start the race. So there is Clarkey. He started on those hard compound tyres. He's getting them out of the way nice and early. I imagine we'll see him going in pretty soon on those to get rid. Randy Moore's opted to start on the medium compound tyres. Toro, he started on the hards as well, so he's doing that clever thing of trying to get rid of those. Toto Wolff, not the real one. He's on the medium tyres also. Bend it out for Black Flag in 5th. Whoop whoop in the 96 Black Flag car. 35 seconds behind Toto Wolff. 12 seconds ahead of Geronimo from the Belgian driver. He is running in 6th position. I think it's the Jaguar, I can't tell from here. Tank Bro comes out in 7th position. He's 28 seconds back. He's on the hard compound tyres. Mediums for Geronimo, I can't say it. Bend it on the softs, starting a different strategy there. Tank Bro also starting on those hards, trying to get rid of those. Who's next out on track? That's Scheckter. Out he comes, the Italian driver in the AMG Mercedes-Benz. One of my favourite GT3 cars. Absolutely love it. I love the way it sounds. I love the way it looks. Unfortunately, if anyone knows me well enough, you know I am incapable of driving it, or in fact any other car. Jager next out. And thank you very much, Jager, for your coverage of stint number 2. Always enjoyable. And of course, thank you to Pony for your for opening us up this morning with the opening round. So midday today, you opened us up for stint number 1. Thank you very much for that. And of course, thank you to Roses for covering on stint 3, just finishing out there. Wiggy Star Group for Black Flag. Whoop whoop in the 69 car, comes out in 10th. Bit of work for him to do. 6.2 seconds to Jager just ahead of him. He is 1.5 seconds clear of the GTSV driver Gianni from Belgium. A lot of Belgian drivers out there today. He's got some work to do to catch up to us, and a lot of work to do. 1.2 seconds. So Wiggy starts on those racing softs. Gianni going for the medium compound tyres. Now we know that the softs are doing about 10-11 laps. We know the mediums are doing a few more than that. Not many people are taking the hards to their limit, so it's hard to know how far that they go. But let's be fair, you're not really taking it much further than a few laps because you want to get rid. Good day, Stormfly, of course, and good day, The Truth. Good to see you, man. Good stint from you earlier. Really worked your way through that field and set your team up for a good finish today. Still waiting for a couple of cars out on track. Yeah, no, it's been, to be fair, Nick, it's been absolutely spot on. And I was just saying earlier, I don't know if you heard me, but I was just saying earlier that I found it, I haven't seen anything on track that I think the stewards need to look at. Other than a few issues with did they or didn't they use the hard tyres for long enough, I don't think there's been anything at all where I'd say that needs to be looked at by the stewards. It's been very clean, it's been very fair, and everyone's been quite... They've raced hard, but they've raced respectfully. And you've got to enjoy racing like that. It's absolutely phenomenal. And, you know, hats off to you guys, Nick and Mr. T, and everyone involved with ERF to get this running, because it's an awesome, awesome series. And I think it's just going to get bigger and bigger and go from strength to strength to strength. So let's have a look out in front. This is where we currently stand. There's your race leader. He's opted to stay out longer than I expected on those hard compound tyres, as Clarky. His lead is cut. He's already been cut 6 seconds to 34 seconds. Randy Moore still running in second. And looking pretty racy at the moment with that fastest lap, with a 1:45.5 on the medium compound tyre. We will, of course, hide the tyres once everyone's been out on track. Toro, the Italian driver, is not far behind. I think he's a lap behind the front too. So he's kind of the best of the rest at the moment. Quite a lot of traffic for the front two to cope with at the moment. Toto Wolff, not the real one. He is 3.8 seconds behind Toro at the moment from Japan. I've seen this guy in GT Champions, and let me tell you this, he is no slouch. And I wouldn't be at all surprised to see him in the next few laps coming up behind that Italian driver and saying hello in his mirrors. Bendit, as Clarky is getting rid now of those hard compound tyres, as we expected. So there is Bendit. He is out in 5th position, picking up the mantle from... I can have to get GMAC, who finished in 5th in stint number 3. He is 36 seconds behind Toto Wolff, not the real one. And 9 seconds at the moment ahead of the next Belgian on track. That's Geronimo. Almost a minute ahead of Tank Pro. Tank Pro is running in 7th position, in from the United Kingdom. Only 1.9, 2 seconds ahead of another Italian in Scheckter. Scheckter 10:55. I'm sure that's not the year he was born, at least I hope not. Because otherwise he's a very, very old racing driver. But he's in the AMG, and I love the AMG, so he gets loads of kudos. Jaeger, one of the commentary team from Germany, he's 10.8 seconds behind that Italian driver. 6.6 ahead of the second Black Flag entry in Star Group. There he is, who has got Gianni already crawling up behind him. Wiggy starting on those soft compound tyres, which you're going to see them pitting probably around lap 10, lap 11, those starting on those soft compounds. There is Gianni, the third of 3 Belgian offerings for us this afternoon, or stroke this evening, depends where you are in the world, I suppose. He's running on the medium tyres, but he is putting in some phenomenal lap times and closing in on the back of Star Group in 10th. Colum now out in 12th for ART. Raced with this guy a lot. Love his work. Hello there. Canadian driver Colum, always very consistent, always very strong. Imagine we'll see if they are a lap back, but I imagine we'll see them getting involved at some stage. Johnny Waffle from Medway. He is 11.6 behind Colum, 25.4 ahead of another Brit. We've got 3 Brits bringing up the rear. Apex Magnet, and there he is, 25 seconds back. 3.9 clear at the moment of Woolley, who's yet, well, I say yet to leave the pits. He's just leaving the pits now. So that is lobby 3 completed. Congratulations to all of you drivers. And there is Clarky coming around. That is Woolley on lap number 2. Clarky there on lap number 1. We'll do a little onboard in a minute with Clarky. He is the leader. But that gap down to 8 seconds. He jumped in the pits. He switched out to those medium tyres. He has already run the hard compound tyre. That's key, because anyone that starts to run it, you've always got that in the back of your mind, that you're going to have a stint of a few laps where you're going to be lucky to be chucking in 48th. Clarky, I think, is the exception to always incredibly quick. So we've got 2 hours of racing, 68 racing laps ahead of us, and then we can crown ourselves the winner of this ERF special event at Watkins Glen. 8 hours of race, or 6 hours of racing behind us, 2 hours of racing ahead of us, and I'm absolutely looking forward to this, because if anything from the last 3 stints has shown us that there is not a driver out there that is giving this battle up. When they get an opportunity to make a pass, they will make it. So this is Clarkey just coming up to finish lap 8, and I'm going to jump on board with him so we can have a little looky at this racetrack at Watkins Glen. So as we head down, this is where you start to gear up for your next lap. Very, very key to be getting this right. You come down, you've got this right-hander, which is turn 11. Good exit out of here, and then you head down under that iconic Go Bowling sign. Down across the start-finish line, you've got the pits on your right. Staying on this left-hand side, foot to the floor, into your first braking zone, into turn 1, which is this right-hander. And then once you do that, you can use loads of that road as well, as you can see on the way out. You've got a second right-hander here, which isn't a braking zone. It is essentially flat out through turn 2, through turn 3, through turn 4, which sweeps round to this right-hand side to take you up the back straight and into the chicane known as the inner loop. This is coming up here. You get this right, you hard braking in, but you can kind of cut your corners on the way through without too much worry. Full power in before you go round the outer loop, which takes you sweeping almost all the way back on yourself into what they call shoot and turn number 6. That brings you round almost all the way back on yourself. You head down towards this cambered right hand toe, which is part of essentially the boot. So you've got the toe here, round the to the right hand side, then up that hill, through that dreaded penalty line, down the boot, which takes you to invariably the heel. And it's called such because it's essentially shaped like a shoe, for want of a better expression. And it's kind of like a double apex right hander almost, the heel, which takes you up the hill again into this almost blind left hander for turn 9. And then again, you can just see it slightly climbing up as you head down towards turn 10. This left-hander we can take pretty much flat out. You still need a little lift going in there. And then this is the end of your lap. This takes you into turn 11 and round to complete yet another lap here at Watkins Glen. And that is a pretty darn racy lap, if I do say so myself, on those medium tyres. That's a 45.8 for Clarkey out in the lead. There we have it. Easy enough. Fastest lap at the moment with Tank Bro. He is down in, where is he? 9th, 10th place? Oh, he's further back than that. Where's he gone? Where's Tank? Oh, Tank Bro's there. He's in 7th. And pay attention, Pirate, pay attention. There he is, running in 7th place. He's 49.2 seconds behind Geronimo. But the fastest man on the racetrack at the moment with a 1:45.1 on those medium compound tyres. Let's get the tyres covered up for a little while. We'll start to see, those that started on soft compound tyres, we'll start to see them jumping into the pits in about 3 or 4 laps time. That's when they'll start going into, you know, they're on the softs because they've gone in. You might see some other people pitting. That's generally going to be people getting rid of hard compound tyres. So let's, now everyone's out on track, let's have a full look from the back of the pack. So ART Woolley from Amigos Racing Team, he is a full minute at the moment behind Apex Magnet, who is running in 14th position. 1.2 seconds is the difference between him and the second well, technically the first ART driver in Cullum, and this battle looks like it might start to hot up very, very soon. He's closing that gap very quickly. Last lap for Apex Magnet was a 47.9. The last lap for Cullum, if I can bring it up, press the right button would be useful, was a 2-minute 10. He had a very poor lap. Well, was that I think he actually pitted that lap, which has allowed Apex Magnet to close in. And you can see there as we go into the inner loop, getting very, very close to the back of that ART car. And very distinctive livery for ART, to be fair. It's blue and yellow all the way, everywhere they go. You can spot them an absolute mile off. And he is closing in on the Canadian driver. Half a second is the distance. Looking on the racetrack, there's a few little battles out there, but I think this is quite an important one, because at the moment ART are 13th and 15th, and this might make a difference. Now, blue flags come into play. Is this going to cause a problem for this battle as the blue flags come out. That's going to be one of the front runners coming up behind these two. At the minute, there's enough distance for them to keep battling. Can Colum keep Apex Magnet at bay? At the moment, Apex Magnet is running on the hard compound tyre. Colum running on those mediums. So he's going to have a little bit more grip than Apex Magnet, but he makes that move up the inside. Colum going very wide. It's a drag race down to this left-hander, and a drag race won quite easily there by Apex Magnet. And we can see again, just it was almost as though he just kind of let him through. You see Colum just gets that a little bit wrong, doesn't cover off that inside line, and it allows Apex Magnet just to breeze on through up into 13th place. There we go. Good start. First overtake of the day. Boom Shanka. Let's get cracking with some more. Colum actually putting into the pits. So that's not such a big deal there. Okay, 12th position. Johnny Waffle for MRL. He's some way behind Gianni, who's running in 11th position. Schechter dives into the pits to get rid of his hard compound tyre. Dropping down to 11th. That promotes everybody up one. At least everyone that was behind him anyway. So Gianni, the Belgian driver, 1.4 behind Wiggy. He's not been able to close that gap. And that is Stargroup coming around to lap Colum. So it was actually Stargroup and Gianni coming around to lap the those guys at the back of the pack. So he is holding his own, 1.3 seconds currently the gap back to Gianni. But I have a feeling that battle is not done and dusted. Obviously I know Wiggy and I know that this guy is quick. Sorry, it says Stargroup there. He's Wiggy. Alright, so yeah, obviously we know how quick he is and we know he's capable of chucking in a lap or two here or there. There is Jager. They're all promoted again because of more pit stops. Jager running in 8th position. He's only 5.3 ahead of the GTSV and the Black Flag drivers behind. 16.4 to Tank Bro. With Tank Bro being the fastest man on track at the moment, you have to wonder if he's going to be able to close that gap. Because Tempo looking pretty darn racy right now. Geronimo, the Belgian driver, 48 seconds ahead of that battle. 5.2 now, the gap to Bendit ahead. How long is it going to be before he's going to be able to rein him in? 45.8, his fastest lap thus far. Bendit with a 46.1. So there's not much difference in their lap times. Bendit keeping it nice and simple, trying to keep it consistent. 38 seconds, however, behind Toto Wolff, not the real one. He is right up behind Toro, the Italian driver, putting him under significant pressure on lap 11 here. Makes the move up the inside, makes it look very, very easy. We can see here just how easily it catches him with the replay here. So you can see there, he's coming up behind, he's got that slipstream, heading down to turn 1, pulls out of the slipstream. Toro not defending the inside line into turn 1, and allows Toto Wolff just to dive in there and take 3rd position. So up into the podium places goes the Japanese driver into 3rd. And is he going to now start pulling away from Toro? And bear in mind, he's on the medium compound tyres, Toto. And Toro also is on the hard compound tyres. Toro opting to stay out a little bit longer than most on those hard compounds. Front 2 though, they are a lap ahead of everybody else. In fact, a couple of laps ahead of everybody else now. They're on lap 13. Toto Wolff Ital, lap 11. And Clarkey still leads the way. The gap was 40 seconds. It's now 8.7. But interestingly, Clarkey has already used the hard compound tyre. He's got those done and dusted out of the way. He's been in and come back out on those mediums. So he'll be running a little bit longer than the Belgian driver, who is currently running 2nd. Also on the mediums, of course. But the gap at the moment, 8.5 seconds. But let's face it, it's not over yet. I want to drop down a little bit to this battle here, because it's only 1.8 seconds, 1.02. I say that as the time starts diving out. Gianni has put in a 1:45.4 fastest lap, and incredibly consistent in those mid to high 45s. If we look at Stargroup, Wiggy in front of him, he is high 45s, low 46s. He has done a low 45 as well, but high 45, low 46s. So the gap is kind of in and out, in and out, in and out. And there's going to be, I think, quite a good battle here, because you've got just ahead, 3.7 seconds ahead, you've got Jaeger there, and he's tucked right in behind Toro to try and unlap himself, and he's quite within his rights to do so. as he looks up the inside to retake a lap essentially over Toro. Now, because he is unlapping himself, Toro's in no obligation to let him through. Although they're not racing for track position, Toro doesn't have to compromise his line because Jaeger's unlapping himself. So he's going to have to do the overtake in the conventional way. Just getting my cold beverage opened because I'm going to talk a lot. You'll probably notice the difference between me and the other commentators is I don't shut up. They know when to shut up. I don't, unfortunately. Apart from when I'm wetting my dry throat from talking too much. So, yeah, this is interesting to see how he's going to do this, because you have to be careful. You don't want to compromise the guy that is, 4 places up the racetrack and a lap ahead. But by the same token, you don't want to get stuck behind them if you're significantly faster. And at the moment, it looks like Jaeger, the German driver, just has that little bit more pace over the Italian ahead of him, running in 4th. And there we see a clip of the wall from the Italian driver running there in 4th place. Let's have a quick look at that, because that was driver error, just pushing a little bit too hard. I don't know if he realises. I mean, surely he realises that the driver behind him is not racing him for track position. And you can see there he just gets a tank snapper on and loses the back end. But unfortunately, Jaeger not in a position to capitalise on that, despite the fact that the Italian driver just didn't quite get it all kinds of right. In fact, he got it all kinds of wrong. So Jaeger desperately trying to find a way through. Now this plays into the hands of Stargroup and Gianni behind, because that gap now down to 2.4 seconds. Jaeger cannot get past Toro. Hasn't quite got that extra bit of oomph to make that move. And because Toro has no obligation to move, it's going to be a difficult position for Jaeger to be in. And what he doesn't want to happen is Stargroup and Gianni behind him to get closer and have a run on him. That's when it could really go not so great for him. Clarkey still leading this race. The gap down 9.5 seconds. Randy Moore still sticking with him, but it was 9.5, it's now 8.7. Yeah, so these are the front two. Hopefully this gap closes at some stage and we can see a battle at the end. Best of the rest at the moment. He's not the real one. He's Toto Wolff from Japan. 3.5 seconds, relatively comfortable at the moment, because behind Toro is trying to stop Jaeger getting through. He hasn't managed to do that, and Jaeger is now past. The problem is, of course, that has allowed Stargroup and Gianni to get much closer. Stargroup now is just 1.9 seconds. That was quite much. That was almost half that gap to the back of Jaeger to 2 seconds. Still Gianni 1.5 behind Wiggy. He's not been able to close that gap significantly as yet. Who's to say that won't happen soon? We're going to see some more pit stops relatively shortly, particularly from those running soft compound tyres. Yeah, I mean, we're hitting lap 13 now. If you take out the fact we've had a formation lap, anyone running soft compound tyres has got to be looking to come in now. I think 12 laps on those soft compound tyres is asking a lot. 13 laps is bravery. 14 laps is just downright stupidity. But we'll see who falls into which category very, very soon. But all the drivers holding their own very, very well. And I'm looking forward to seeing just how this race pans out. Anyone there in the chat, if you've got any predictions of how you think this race is going to turn out, let's hit us with those predictions. Who are you supporting? Who do you think is going to make it to the end? Who do you think is going to be the surprise of the stint? Who do you think is going to end up with the fastest lap? Can Clarkey hold on to the end? Or will Randy Moore catch him? Will the winner come from somewhere further back? Will that lap distance, or that 2 lap distance, get closed down and somebody else take the top spot? And that is Wiggy moving ahead, unlapping himself from Toro. I think Toro was serving a penalty there by those things, because he ghosted straight through him. So Wiggy in ninth, still holding on. The gap to Jaeger opened up a little bit, 2.5 seconds, while he was held there behind Toro. Now, obviously, the ideal scenario for Wiggy will be that this guy, Gianni, the Belgian driver, is just held up a little bit behind Toro, the Italian. Further back, we've got Scheckter, 13.2 seconds back in 11th position. He's got Johnny Waffle, I think a lap behind, 2 laps behind, actually. Scheckter on lap 13. As you see, Wiggy goes in with those soft compound tyres into the pits, followed immediately by Gianni. So Scheckter will come through, unless he's pitting. Well, I thought he was pitting then, he did stay that side. Scheckter comes through, he's on the medium compound tyre. We'll bring this up again because people are pitting, so you just see where everyone's on for a minute. So yeah, Scheckter is on the medium compound tyre. About half a tank of fuel left on board there. Johnny Waffle, he's on lap 11, couple of laps back. So he's kind of the best of this next battle. 28 seconds ahead of Apex Magnet. The good thing about being in the position Johnny Waffle's in is that the car ahead is significantly ahead. And, at this stage of the race, there's no real thinking about catching him. Or her, of course. But with 28 second gap behind, you don't have to worry about defending or pushing too hard or that. You can literally just look after your tyres, look after your fuel, plot. I say plod in that he can go. He doesn't have to push like crazy. He can look after the tyres, look after the fuel, go that little bit longer in a stint, maybe save a little bit of time in a pit stop, and start working on that gap later on in the race. So he's quite a unique position. He's not under any pressure at the moment. Apex Magnet, he is 7 seconds ahead of Cullum. Has made his way ahead. He's on those medium compound tyres, and they're fresh mediums now. So should be running for 15, 16 or more laps on those mediums. The Canadian Cullum. There he is. He's 39 seconds clear of his teammate Wooly, or teammate. I mean, they're teammates. They're both from ART, but they're racing in different cars today, of course. But 39 seconds is that gap. Can those two close that gap and maybe work together? A little bit of bumpy drafty and get up a little bit, try and get on the back of Apex Magnet maybe. There's your race leader, Clarkey, and he's making light work of this at the moment. And the great thing about being in this position, him and Randy Moore are lapping very similar times. You can see that. In fact, Randy Moore's chucking in a 45 here and there. But the lap time is incredibly similar between those two. The gap's not closing, so he doesn't have to panic. He can just put in those quick laps. He won't be concerned that Tank Bro's got the fastest lap of a 45-1. At this stage, he doesn't need to think about putting in that kind of lap. He just needs to think about keeping that consistency in the car, keeping the car on the racetrack, and just doing the job. And if he can do that, he'll bring this car home. We're currently sitting lap 18 of 68 here at Watkins Glen. And this is the ERF special event at Watkins Glen. 8 hours at Watkins Glen. This is the final 2 hours of the race. It's the final 2 hours of this race, and it's already looking to be hotting up. Clarkey leading the way by 9.3 seconds to Randy Moore. They are on the lead lap. 18 lap they're on, and 16 is the lap that Toto Wolff, not the real one, is currently running in third position. 10 seconds up the road is Toro Scatanetto from Italy. We've had a couple of cars unlap themselves from Toro. He's currently running 10.6 seconds behind Toto Wolff. 35.0 seconds ahead of Geronimo from Belgium. Sorry, I don't know why I went out of Germany. I shouldn't do that. 19 seconds clear of Bendit, now running in 6th place. He's lost a position, dropped down to 6th. Started in 5th after a great race from GMAC in the previous stint. But still running a decent pace. Pretty consistent in those mid to high 46s on those soft compound tyres. Bear in mind that he has pit. Geronimo, I don't think, has been in just yet. So Randy Moore pits for his first pit stop. Bear in mind, Clarkey has already been in once on the hard compound tyres. The gap now is 36 seconds to Clarkey. So a lot of work for Randy Moore to do from this position. Battle in the midfield. We've looked at Bendit. He is 19 seconds clear of the fastest man on the racetrack, Tank Bro. I say the fastest man on the racetrack. He's put in a 45-1, which makes him the fastest man, and he's been in the low 45s pretty much all his races. He is closing in that 19-second gap to Bendit at a rapid rate of knots. Lap 17 for him of those 68 laps. And I bet you guys are thinking, oh my God, have I got to listen to this guy talk incessantly for another 50 laps? Yes, you do. Jaeger is in 8th position. He is running similar pace actually to Bendit. It's going to be hard to find a way to close up on Taylor with the kind of pace that he's putting in at the moment. But 14 seconds clear of the Italian Scheckter, running in 9th, who is ahead of Wiggy, running in 10th by 10.8 seconds. 16 seconds back to Gianni. And then, that's the rest of lap 16 done and dusted. They're all on the same lap, of course. And then we go back to 12th position. Johnny Waffle. He's leading the back marker battles by 26.5 seconds from Apex Magnets. He is 6.6 seconds clear of Colum, and 41 seconds back to his teammate Wooly. It's interesting, this race, actually, because it's not the sort of track you'd associate with endurance racing, but they do actually hold a lot of endurance series here. And it's a tricky racetrack for that kind of thing, because it's not... Usually you expect the big endurance races, you're kind of looking at your big, long racetracks. Your kind of 3 minutes a lap, 4 minutes a lap kind of jobbies. Your Nürburgrings, your Le Mans, those kind of long laps with tricky lots of different sectors and tricky bits and pieces all throughout the racetrack. But this is a relatively short circuit in terms of endurance racing. But I think the beauty of it is, because you've only got 11 corners, you can really kind of, over your 2-hour stint, you can really maximise your muscle memory. Now bear in mind that they're only going to be running the hard compound tires for a short period of time. Well, most drivers are going to run the hard compounds for a short period of time. So you're mostly going to be running on the mediums or the softs. So your time's going to be comparative-ish. So it is just about that muscle memory and almost feeling your way around the racetrack, because after a while you kind of just feel your way through, and you're not just looking for your break points, you're kind of instinctively knowing where those break points are. And that's what makes it interesting, because the longer the race goes on, or the longer each stint goes on as well, the more the drivers feel it. The great thing about it being different drivers for every stint as well is that obviously the driver before's done 2 hours, the new driver coming in is fresh, but also they've got to build up that kind of muscle memory over the beginning of the race, and it's important to kind of hit the ground running, particularly because the guys ahead of you have kind of done the work thus far. But these are the guys that have been chosen to bring the final stint home for these last 2 hours. We are on lap 21. We're 1/4 distance almost into this final stint here with the ERF special event at Watkins Glen 8 hour. I'm UrbanPyrate. I've followed 3 great broadcasts from, of course, Ponyboy, who opened up the series this morning at 12. He was followed by Jaeger. Jaeger currently running in 8th position. There he is on the racetrack right now, who talked us through that second stint and filled us in even when there was a few non-battles going on during that 2-hour stint. Then Roses dived in to save the day with a technical failure for our planned broadcaster for stint 3. And you can catch that on his Twitch channel. I think the link is somewhere, I'll find it for you. And then of course I've come in to fill in the final 2 hours here at Watkins Glen. Now coming up is the 24 hours of Nürburgring. That's coming up towards the end of July. I can tell you that entries are already oversubscribed. Even we were late with our Black Flag entry. But if you're interested, you head to the ERF Discord page and get involved for that. Otherwise, you can join us on the ERF YouTube channel for that broadcast. And we are looking at the moment at ways of getting the broadcast all into one, so you don't have to keep diving from page to page to page to page to page. Welcome to anyone that is new and just joining us. This is how we currently look on lap 22 of 68 here at Watkins Glen. Clarkey leads the way, as he has done from lap number 1, 38.5 seconds clear. The gap was 40 seconds at the beginning of this race. He did a few laps on the hards, dived in and stopped quite early. 38 seconds is the gap now to Randy Moore, who has already stopped. But he's got some front end damage. Now that's a bit of a blow because he's not long come out of the pits on those soft compound tyres. So he now really needs to weigh up his options as to how much pace he's losing and whether it's worth going in and doing a repair. And if you're going to do that, do you put on fuel, do you put on more tyres, or what do you do? It's got to make a decision quickly, because the longer you stay out, sooner or later that decision's taken out of your hands, and then you just have to go with whatever, with staying out essentially, because if you don't make the decision quick enough, you're going to lose far too much time. That's a bit of a blow. Jaeger was just talking about heads into the pits. He's changing out to those medium compound tyres. So there is Randy Moore with that damage. Is he going to choose, excuse me, to dive into the pits at this stage, or stay out on the racetrack? He's got that bit of damage. He's got a bit of damage on the front after colliding a little collision. Nothing too shabby, I don't think. We didn't catch it, but nothing too much to worry about. Geronimo moves up into 4th position. That's a good battle going on between those two drivers. Can we see how this came about? So no, Geronimo, depends how you want to say it, was already ahead, but Toro making a move back on him. That was a good, smart little move from Toro getting ahead of Geronimo. We can actually watch this replay. They've got blue flags as well, which makes it just a little bit harder. And it is side by side, drag racing down to turn 1, and just getting that inside line, Toro, early on makes it difficult for Geronimo to defend, and he moves up into 4th place. They are going to have to contend very soon with one of the cars ahead coming up behind them, and that I imagine is going to be, I think, Clarkey. Actually, Clarkey's behind Apex Magnet, and Randy Moore maybe. Could be wrong. Is it Toto Wolff? It is actually indeed these guys. So Toto Wolff, not the real one. He's up into 3rd position. He's currently coming up to lap the fastest man on the racetrack. That is Tank Bro. This is the view from the back of the car. I do love this kind of view. Toto Wolff dives into the pits as I was about to show you. A very, very cool view. So thank you very much for that, Toto Wolff, for screwing up the perfect camera shot. Let's do it from the back of Toro Scatanato. That's Geronimo just behind him, 1.4 seconds. We saw him make the overtake. He got that job done relatively easy, the DCT driver. He's now got Geronimo, the Belgian, dropping back actually 1.6 seconds, or 1.7 seconds, as he's putting in his best lap thus far of this race. Doing a really, really good job up in 4th place. The gap to Toto Wolff, not the real one, is 45 seconds, or is it? Because he's just come out of the pits. Excuse me, sorry, I'm going to have to have a big cough. I'm going to mute you for a second. Sorry about that. Frog in the throat today. Frog in the throat. So Randy Moore does take the lead, but that is, you've got at the moment Clarkey and Randy Moore, their pit strategies are not married up. You know, similar to when women live in the same house. And it didn't last long before that happened, and we caught it on camera. And I should have spotted it immediately, it was behind him. So Randy Moore took the lead of the race just through the pit strategy, but Clarkey showing phenomenal pace in that slipstream, makes that move, and then into the chicane they go. Clarkey takes the lead, and there's no way Randy Moore can fight back through that inner loop chicane. So order is restored, although the gap now is down to a much more battle-worthy 0.2 of a second. They are out of sync pit-wise, and Randy Moore is carrying a bit of damage. He's got racing soft tyres on, but he's also carrying a bit of damage to the front suspension and front aerodynamics. That doesn't seem to be affecting his pace too much on those soft tyres though. He's putting in relatively quick low 146s. Now you would imagine on the softs the pace should be a little bit quicker, particularly out in front, but that damage is going to be affecting the performance of the car just a little bit. A little bit, and a little bit more. as they say. Hello, Ricardus. How the hell are you, my friend? Thank you for joining us. Yeah. What's going on further down outside that top 10? So, Wiggy is in 90, 14 seconds clear of Gianni, the one of 3 Belgian drivers in this final stint for GTSV. He's just 1.8 seconds clear of fellow broadcaster Jaeger, or Jaeger, is it Jaeger or Jaeger? Jaeger, it's Jaeger, isn't it? The German driver. 1.8 seconds is the gap. Now, in terms of lap times, Jaeger looking pretty darn racy at the moment, although going to be difficult to keep up with those 45s that Gianni is currently putting down on those medium tyres. At the moment, Jaeger not doing better than 46, low 46s. Then we've got, I think it's a lap back to Apex Magnet, running there in 12th, yeah, just starting lap 20, whereas those guys are on lap 22, so actually a couple of laps back to these guys here. That's Apex Magnet and Johnny Waffle. Now, remember, Johnny Waffle had a massive gap. It's being closed down, actually, and Johnny Waffle now 0.2 of a second behind Apex Magnet and bringing it for MRL. Now, as I said, it doesn't matter whether you're in first or whether you're in 13th. These guys bring it to every single race, side by side. He breezes through. It's almost like Apex Magnet wasn't even there. Straight past him, makes it look incredibly easy. And this is what it looked like from where? Oh, that's what I'm looking for. From there, from that view. Remember the keyboard controls, you idiots. And just disappearing past him up into 12th position. So Johnny Waffle making light work of that particular overtake. Can Apex Magnet stick with him? Well, the 1.3 second gap would suggest not. Johnny Waffle's just done his fastest lap of the race as well with a 1:45.323. Bringing up the rear. Let's give some love to these guys, because one thing I will say is that 8 hours into the race and the guy running in 15th is still out there on the racetrack. How you doing, Ray Coxler? Clark, you doing brilliant, but Jaeger's not doing too badly. He's doing all right. Wooly back there in 15th. The thing you have to applaud, and particularly from my perspective, being that I'm usually the guy at the back, is that these guys have stuck it out, and despite being, several laps down and 47 seconds behind his teammate, they are absolutely sticking it out to the end, and that is incredibly commendable, and should be given the respect it deserves, because it's a long time. 2 hours on its own is a long time, but these guys have been racing for 8 hours. So apologies for that. 47 seconds is the gap, but he's done a great job. Column's in the pits now. I think Wooly's going to have to follow him in, though, looking at tyres and fuel. Let's have a quick butchers. There you go. Those mediums looking a little bit ropey. Schechter into the pits for his next stop. Colum also in, and we'll see Wooly pulling in relatively soon. Or we won't, because we're going to have a look out front at tyre and fuel situation out there. So Clarkey on the medium compound tyres, just under 3/4 of a tank of fuel there, running 0.3 of a second ahead of Randy Moore. Now that was a 40-second gap right at the beginning of this race when Clarkey first came out. You're absolutely right, Ray. I mean, I've had quite a few dealings with ART. I've done some broadcasts for them. I've raced with some of the ART guys. They are a great bunch of lads and lasses. When I say guys or lads, I mean both. I'm not singling people out. No, they are a fantastic racing group, fantastic community, and I am proud to say that I have raced and been connected with them in even if some small way. Absolutely brilliant. But I think everybody out there has to be commended, from the guys out in the lead to the guys right at the back, and whatever stint they've done, because you're essentially giving up a large chunk of your day to do this. Particularly the guys behind the scenes. So the guys behind the scenes at RA, particularly guys like Nick, and I'm not, if I miss anybody, I'm not doing it on purpose. I just can't remember everybody. Pony Boy and everybody else. They're giving an entire day to this event and make sure it happens and it's going smoothly. So they all deserve to be commended. But at the moment, the man looking for the big commendation is Race Asylum's very own Clarkey, the British driver in the lead as Wiggy diving into the pits to get rid of those soft compound tyres. He's been running on for about 11-12 laps, I think, 11 to 12 laps. It was a 40-second gap between Randy Moore and Clarkey when this race begun. Bear in mind that they're out of sync pit stop wise. You can see the difference there. And Randy Moore, I tell you what, his pace, despite that front wing damage, has been brilliant actually. I was wondering whether he would choose to dive into the pits as Wiggy coming out and getting tangled in that battle 4-1-2. He's going to just move over and let Randy Moore go through. Randy Moore tucking in behind him though. It's difficult because the guys I'm talking to, it's difficult to communicate which way to go. Wiggy's got every right to be racing, and Randy Moore obviously every right to find his way through. It was a Gran Turismo Academy finalist. Well, that explains why he's so crazy fast and crazy consistent. And I can't pretend I'm not a little bit jealous. If I was 20 years younger, I might practice more. The fact of the matter is I'm too fat and I'm too lazy now to learn a new skill. One thing I can do is talk rubbish, so that's exactly what I'm going to do. So, as we know, these two guys, Randy Moore, Clarkey, half a second between them. They're on the lead lap 28 of 68. They have exactly 40 laps remaining here at Watkins Glen. We go back to the best of the rest, and that is the Japanese driver Toto Wolff in the McLaren 650S. And I say it's Toto Wolff, but he's not the real one. He's the Japanese Toto Wolff. 13.7 seconds clear of Toro Scatanato 58 from Italy, racing in that GTR. Absolute chicken legend. Love it. As Randy Moore dives into the pit, so that half second gap is going to change quite dramatically now. So Toto Wolff, Toro Scatanato, they're third and fourth. 13.8 seconds separates those two. Toro coming up behind Jaeger. Is he going to be unlapping himself? Is he going to be lapping? So now bear in mind that we saw earlier Jaeger actually unlapping himself on Toro. Is he going to return the favour and stick him another lap back? He's quite safe at the moment in fourth because his closest rival on the racetrack, not counting Toto Wolff ahead of course, is Geronimo, which is the noise I imagine he makes every time he puts his foot on the accelerator. At least if that was my name, I would. He is the second of three Belgian drivers, 45 seconds behind the Italian, and he's just 2.2 seconds ahead of Tank Bro, who is still the fastest man on the racetrack and has actually improved his previous fastest time with a 43.9. And I don't think yet we've seen anybody else do a sub 44 lap yet. Now we have seen over the last previous three stints, we've seen the odd 42 dipped in now. Will we see another in this final chase down to the line? 52 seconds back in 7th place, there's Bendit. He is currently lapping quite consistent 47s, 48s, running on those medium compound tyres, not long out of the pits. Out of sync a little bit from Tank Bro, who should be pitting in the next lap or two, so that gap will change. They do have some rapid drivers. He's doing very well there. He's got the fastest lap as well. Now imagine if he was doing 43.9s every lap, I think Geronimo and Toro would be in trouble. I mean, Geronimo would be in trouble already, and Toro would be in trouble soon. Jaeger, there he is, the other RA driver. They're here to cheer him on. 4.3 seconds behind Bendit, has closed that gap down and trying to reel him in, as he's currently sandwiched between two black flag drivers. Are they going to make a tasty morsel out of him, or is he going to be able to get ahead of Bendit before Wiggy closes that 11.6 seconds and shuts the sandwich for good? 5 minutes off the leader currently sits Stargroot does in that Porsche 911 RSR. Scheckter, another Italian driver. He is 1.4 seconds behind Wiggy. Can he close the gap? He's just had a 45.7 to Wiggy's 47.4, although Wiggy is now running those hard compound tyres for the mandatory short amount of time. But yeah, you're right, it's getting very, very interesting, Jay. Very interesting indeed. So Wiggy is going to sacrifice 9th position, but he has got rid of those hard compound tyres. And I think that's key, that earlier you get rid of those hard compound tyres, the better you make it for yourself. You know, if you are way out in front, 55 seconds in the lead, then you have those options available to you. When you're in that midfield and you're going to be battling for position, you want to give yourself the biggest advantage at the end of the race as possible. And the way you do that is by getting rid of the slower required mandatory tyres nice and early, and then you leave yourself with the preferable grippier, more torque available to you tyres towards the tail end of the race. And that's exactly what a Wiggy is doing right now. And he's going to be fueling his car, so the gap's going to open up quite some bit. I think Gianni's going to come through. He does. He's through into 10th place. Johnny Waffle, he's a lap back. He always comes actually 3 laps back, so he's not going to, or a lap and a half, shall we say, back. So he's not going to make any inroads into Wiggy in 12th. But after making that overtake on Apex Magnet, he's pulled out a 41 second lead over Apex Magnet. So he's back into the nice, comfortable position that Johnny Waffle was enjoying early on in this race. The gap from 13th to 14th, Apex Magnet 16.2 seconds clear of Colum, who's running in 14th, and Wooly running in 15th. The gap between those two, about 40 seconds, remains pretty much unchanged. Your race leader, the gap back to more akin, as it were, when the race began. As we see Apex Magnet in the distance there, going a bit tank slappy, but holding it together. So there is Clarkey leading away 31 seconds clear, and looking pretty darn well. I'm assuming that blue flag is for Toro and not for Clarkey, of course, who is just coming up behind Toro now, who's running in 4th. That just goes to show the phenomenal pace of him and Randy Moore. I mean, Randy Moore's on that lead lap with him, albeit 31 seconds back. But phenomenal pace, because they're coming up behind the driver currently sitting in 4th position. And this is the view from the back of Toro, the Italian driver. That car in the distance, that's your race leader. And we are currently looking over the rear wing of the DCT driver in 4th position. And just coming around the corner now, you can see there, that distinctive orange and white car is the GTR, driven by the Gran Turismo Academy finalist, Clarkson. I don't know if that's his name. I just made it up. Hope it sticks. They are crazy consistent, absolutely. But I think that's the key. You know, we talk a lot about quick, and Tag Bro is putting a 43.9, which is incredibly quick. But the key to winning races isn't just pace; it's consistency. And you see it time and time again, that you see cars chucking in like super hot laps and then crashing, and then a super hot lap and then crashing again. And more often than not, it's the guy in 2nd or 3rd or 4th putting in the regular, genuinely, you know, within a couple of tenths of each other, lap after lap after lap after lap after lap. They're the ones that come out with the gold medal, with the victory trophy, whatever it is that they get. So consistency is absolute key. Now, you know, consistency is one thing. You've got to be relatively quick with the consistency. I can drive consistently. I can drive consistently slowly. But that's the thing. It is consistency with then speed. And I often say to people that, you know, if you're worried about not getting it right or making a mistake, then be happy to scrub a couple of tenths off your time rather than try and get those extra 2 or 3 tenths. If you can comfortably drive at X speed, do that. And you know what, especially if you're chasing down someone at the last few laps of the race, absolutely push for dear life. It wouldn't be racing if you didn't. But trying to squeeze out those extra tenths that you don't need to, can often be detrimental. And I've seen it so many times. People snatch defeat from the jaws of victory, going for a fastest lap they didn't need to get. And yeah, I mean, it is consistency 100% key. But as you can see there, Clarkey closing on Toro for DCT to lap him. Toro on lap 31. Clarkey says, "Get out of the way, brother!" With a flash of the lights from that GTR. It's GTR and GTR as they head into the tail end of lap 31 for Toro. I think lap 33 will soon be lap 34 for Clarkey. Or was it 35? It'll be lap 35 for Clarkey very soon. Another little flash to remind him that he needs to move his butt out of the way. Can't keep holding him up. He's got to make a move at some stage to let the leader through. Clarkey's backed off a little bit, but he's got to let him through at some stage. And it looks to me like Toro is defending, or was defending the inside line. Now the best way to do this, although he did go a bit wide there, is he going to pick up a penalty for not letting Clarkey through? That'll be interesting to see. Doesn't look like he does. I can't see anything popping up on that. Now here's the thing. This is the opportunity. He's got to let him through before the chicane. He doesn't want to hold him up any longer. And he does pull across, and Clarkey does dive on through before they go into the inner loop chicane. So job done. Clarkey up on lap 34, and there we've got Toro 22 seconds behind Toto Wolff. 22 seconds outside of podium position. Remember, running in 4th position. Further down the order, we're looking at Bendit there. He's now behind Jaeger. Jaeger's made that move up into 7th, 2.1 seconds behind. Now he really needs to keep ahead of Scheckter. He's lost a few positions. Thus far, he's down from 5th to 8th. He's got Johnny Waffle, who is going to be unlapping himself very shortly, just behind him. He's also got Clarkey there. So there's going to be a car unlapping and a car lapping again. And he's got to get out of the way. He doesn't want to compromise his race. He's got to try and keep with Jaeger, who's 1.8 seconds up the road. But he certainly doesn't want Scheckter, the second Italian, in 9th position, closing that 9-second gap any more than it currently is. He's currently running on those medium compound tyres. So there we go. Johnny Waffle unlapping himself from 12th up to 8th. Bendit just staying out of the way and letting him through. Johnny Waffle up into turn 1. The next one's going to be Clarkey to come through. How quickly is he going to get this done? I mean, Clarkey's pretty quick, to be fair. So Bendit just needs to just dive over to one side. We just see the light starting to fade here at Watkins Glen as the lights go out, and or the lights go out in the sky and the lights come on the cars. And there is Clarkey. Is he going to be able to lap Johnny Waffle at the same time? Gets past Bendit into the inner loop, and we're going to see him having a go at Johnny Waffle. Johnny Waffle moves right away, so much so that Bendit is able to re-lap him. Now, I've made my feelings clear about this before. I'm all for getting out of the way and letting drivers through, but not the compromise of your race. You shouldn't be losing a track position, even if it is one like that where you've unlapped yourself, to move out of the way for another car. It's easy enough for the car behind to know, let's be facing it, if you're in 1st and another car is in 12th, you're significantly faster than them. So you can kind of plan where you're going to catch them. You know where on the racetrack you're going to get them. So I think between you can kind of come to an understanding. If you're going to be lapped, then just be a little bit slower on the gas out of the corner. That's going to give you the smallest amount of loss. Good evening, Forza. It's been a while, my friend. I haven't seen you for quite some time. But yeah, thanks for joining us. And yeah, so as I was saying, so get on the power a little bit later, because you know the guy coming behind is going to be on it quick as a flash. Just drift off that racing line coming out of the corner, and then you can get on the power and maybe pick up a little bit of slipstream going on from there. Right down to the back of the grid, we want to check on that we don't want to leave these guys hanging. There's Woolley and Cullen, the gap 40 seconds between those two. Johnny Waffle 17 seconds up the road. We've already seen him be re-lapped by Bandit. Apex Magnet just ahead of him, just ahead of Johnny Waffle in 12th position. Yeah, let off a little bit into the braking zone. and then just a little bit slower out on the power, and then job done. Everyone's out of each other's way. Absolutely. But yeah, I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of going off the racetrack and dirtying up your tyres just to let someone through. I don't think that's the done deal. I mean, obviously, if you've crashed, then stay off the racetrack and let people get through. But you know what I mean. Now, Apex Magnet coming to unlap himself on Bendit and Johnny Waffle. Does Bendit play a part in this battle for 12th? Because he's under no obligation to let these cars through. They are. They're not racing Bendit at the moment. They're in 12th and 13th. They're a lap behind. In fact, a couple of laps behind if we look there. Where's Bendit? Bendit's on lap 33. Yeah, they're on lap 30. So 3 laps behind. So he's now under no obligation to let them through. He shouldn't be blocking them off, obviously. You know, they're faster. But, yeah. It looks like he's actually getting quite involved in this battle. With... Johnny Waffle and Apex Magnet, because Apex Magnet has got Johnny Waffle all over him like a bad rash after a night out in Scunthorpe. And I apologise to anyone from Scunthorpe, or anyone that doesn't know where Scunthorpe is. It's a place in the north. I went there once, it wasn't very nice. So Johnny Waffle about to make the move on Apex Magnet, or trying to anyway. It doesn't look like he's got it done there, but look at this. This is the on-board shot. This is the money shot. Look at this. This is what it looks like from inside that car. Right up behind Apex Magnet he is now. And they are just tucked in behind Bendit, trying desperately to find a way around that black flag racing driver currently running in 8th. Apex Magnet goes for the move, gets that done. Can Johnny Waffle get in before they hit the chicane? No, he can't. That gives Apex Magnet that little bit of breathing room. How long before Johnny Waffle, if he can, gets to make the move on Bendit? And we've got to consider as well, that is a blue flag, and that blue flag says there's someone coming from behind. The clock, he's not from Scunthorpe. He is not from Scunthorpe. Seriously. Absolutely not. I couldn't have planned that any better if I'd tried. Or worse, I'm not sure. Yeah, am I going to be creeping afterwards? We'll see. We'll see. You're winding me up. You're from Scunthorpe. Johnny Waffle does get through eventually, but the gap now to Apex Magnet, 2.4 seconds. So I said Bendit was going to have a say in that battle, and he absolutely did. Because although Johnny Waffle was able to close on Apex Magnet, and he did behind Bendit, once they got through, Apex Magnet was able just to open up the gap. Not the real one, Toto Wolff. He's in the pits from 3rd. He is the best of the rest. He is currently, he's not, no he's not. Seriously, don't do that to me. I'm gonna have to delete that bit of YouTube before he gets to watch it, aren't I? Oh, that is so funny. There's Clarky, the man from Scunthorpe, and I often might... If Ray is not winding me up, which I think they are, right? Scunthorpe on the rise. Yeah, they're on the rise. They're all going to get on a train down to London and kick my head in. I've got a funny story about Scunthorpe, but I can't tell it. No, I don't think I can. I think it was before the watershed. I can't tell it. So there is Clarky. Apparently the alien from Sunny Scunny. And I apologise in advance. No, in reverse. Look at me backtracking now. If you are really from Scunthorpe, right, and Ray's not winding me up, I apologise for casting aspersions on your hometown. I'm sure there are parts of it that are very, very nice. I just had a very bad experience there. Moving swiftly on, 23 seconds back with a half-second penalty is the Belgian. And I've been to Bruges. That's a lovely place. I'm not going to say anything horrible anywhere ever again, genuinely. Apart from Wales. Because I know that Wiggy won't leave Wales to come and pick me up. I'm only joking. No, Wales is lovely as well. Randy Moore, which is a nickname I used to have in school. 23 seconds behind Clarky. At the moment, he's closed the gap a little bit again, and he does seem to be doing it on a semi-regular basis. Getting half-second penalties is not going to help. But let's be fair, I think Clarky is managing that gap. He's not pushing crazy hard. He's allowing Tank Bro to have that fastest lap. His concern as he goes into the pits, and Randy Moore may briefly, very briefly, because that's what the tyres look like, very briefly dive into the pits, or dive into the lead, only to follow into the pits later on. So we are past the halfway mark, and we're starting to see how the strategies are playing out, or are we? It's very difficult because I'm not another one. I'm leaving Wales alone. Now, Wales is, I actually do really love. Right. Everywhere in the world is absolutely brilliant. Right? If I take a piss out of Croydon, where I'm from, will I get away with it? Because Croydon is seriously like the worst place in the world. Genuinely. I know because I'm from there. I no longer live there because I've got a brain. Thanks very much, Slippy, for that. So there we go. Randy Moore does go into the lead, albeit briefly. 4.9 seconds clear. John Deere all the way. Clarkey is back out of the pits. He's 5.1 seconds behind Randy Moore. He is tucked nicely behind Colum from Canada. Also a lovely place. There's nothing horrible about Canada either. And he is, they're on lap 39. 2 laps clear of, not the real one, just picking up a half-second penalty there. He's from Japan, lovely country. Beautiful part of the world. He is, he's a couple of laps down, lap 37. But comfortably in that last podium spot in third is the man pretending to be the Mercedes team's principal. I don't know if he's pretending to be. Where's the sheep? I don't know. I think I've already made my feelings clear about Derbyshire, Jake. I think 23.6 seconds is the gap that Toro in the next 20 odd laps, because it will be 20 odd laps because the race leaders are a couple of laps ahead. That Italian needs to find 23 seconds if Toro from DCT wants to challenge, not the real one, for that podium spot. His bigger concern is going to be whether the Belgian driver behind him, Geronimo, 8.6 seconds behind him, is going to be able to close that gap. He's currently lapping in the mid 46s, which, to be fair, is not too far off. If actually a little bit slower than Toro in 4th place. Fastest man on the racetrack, Tank Bro. He's in 6th position into the pits. Shouldn't still be in there by the time Jaeger gets around. I don't know why I call him Jaeger, like it's Jaeger. Well, it's Jaeger, isn't it? In Germany, is it J or is it Ja? You can tell. Jay did bring that actually. I probably should put a mention out. I'll say a shout out. Sympathies out to the families of the absolute nut job in Nottingham that devastated 6 families. I mean, 3 families that lost a family member and 3 with horrific injuries. So I hope they consider bringing back the death penalty for him. Is all I'm going to say on that matter. Do you know what, Ray? I'm with you on that. I've had a night out. I've had several nights out in Derby. I've had one good one and several that I'd rather forget. Although, to be fair, one of the nights I drunk so much I did forget. So I might not have been in Derby, to be fair. Anyway, so there is Jaeger. He's gone into the pits as well. So definitely not going to benefit from Tank Bro's pit. Scheckter goes through. Bendit goes through. Although they will both be pitting relatively shortly soon. So it's... I think we're starting to see some pit stops start kind of sync up. There are a couple of drivers out there, and if I'd been a much more professional commentator and broadcaster, I would have written them down, that haven't run the hard compound tyre. I think I can remember, but I'm not going to call it out on the broadcast in case I'm wrong. And let's face it, I usually am. So bend it through, back up into that top 8. There is Jaeger in 9th position. He's 41 seconds. No, he's not. I lied to you. He's 15 seconds, 11 seconds, 10 seconds, 9 seconds. No, it's 10 seconds. 10 seconds clear of Wiggy from Wales. A beautiful part of the world. Chippy Alley in Cardiff. You know what would be really, really cool? If when you went to Chippy Alley in Cardiff, you get anything you want except chips. That would be a really ironic name then. We used to have an alleyway near our school behind a Chippy. It was called Dog Alley. I can't tell you the second word because it was before the watershed. And the funny thing was, I never actually saw any No one ever took their dogs down there because it was full of needles and and drug dealers and prostitutes. Anyway, moving swiftly on. 4.6 seconds back to the Belgian Gianni. Looking at lap times, I think it's going to be difficult for him to close. He hasn't closed thus far, and we are over an hour into this race. Lap 38.68 for these guys as Johnny Waffle into the pits. Apex Magnet drives on through. There is Randy Moore into the pits, and Clarkey back off into the horizon, riding off, actually, funny enough, into the sunset, which is descending upon us here in New York. Yeah, at the moment 2/10 clear, but we won't know what it really is until Randy Moore, the Belgian driver, comes out of the pits. Shall we do the full rundown from 15th to 1st? Because we need to give these ART guys some love, and it looks like Wooly had a crash. Hate to be the bringer of bad news, but yeah, he does. He loses the back end a little bit. Keeps out of the wall though. Expertly done, Wooly. Expertly done, my friend. He is currently running in 15th place, 44 seconds behind his teammate, and from Canada, Coulomb. He's 24 seconds behind Johnny Waffle. He is on the soft compound tires. We'll probably need to stop another time or two more. Johnny Waffle on those medium compound tyres, about to be lapped by, excuse me, sorry, I didn't mean for that to come out, Jaeger in 8th position. The gap to Apex Magnet, who does need to pit relatively shortly, 33 seconds. So this is where Johnny Waffle needs to get on that loud pedal. He's already done a 45.2. Can he do a couple more of those? A few more 45.2s to Apex's 46.5s, and when Apex goes into the pits, we could see a Johnny Waffle Apex Magnet switcheroo, which would be awesome. Couple of laps up, lap 39 of 68 is Gianni. He's 2.2 behind the wiggiest wiggy from Wales, Star Groot, who is, of course, Black Flag driver. I'm actually going to have a good look at all the liveries for everyone. I know you've had a chance to look at them, but you can look at them properly in a minute. Just to pass the time, because give you something else to talk about, and try and make you forget that I character assassinated Clarkey's hometown. 6.3 seconds behind Shakhtar. Not to be confused with Shakhtar Donetsk. It's a football team that's not in Italy. I don't know why I made that strange connection. Shut up now. 5.5 seconds is the gap to Jaeger, who has just lapped Johnny Waffle. No, he hasn't. He's about to lap Johnny Waffle when he can find a way through, and he does. Into the chicane he goes, and remains in 8th place. Bend it like Beckham, apparently. 1.3 minutes behind Geronimo, according to the timing screen. 12 seconds ahead of Jaeger. Can he stay there? He's currently on the medium tires. He's about to jump into the pits, so I fear that might not be the case. He's the lead Black Flag driver right now. Bring it home, baby. Bring it home. Geronimo! 7.6 seconds behind Tank Bro, who is still the holder of the fastest lap. He holds that aloft like a badge of honour, and he picked that up ages ago. And he actually had the fastest lap pretty much since lap 4. I don't think anyone else has been close. So congratulations to him, if he can hold on to that to the end. And into the pits, as predicted, goes Bendit. 45 seconds up the road, there is Toro Scatenato from Italia and DC team. He's running in 4th position. Still the gap to Toto Wolff, not the real one. It's 27 seconds. It's going to take something monumental to, I think, change his top 4. Excuse me, one sec. There's been a bug that I've, because I've been out working long hours, I've kind of managed to avoid. Also, I thought, throat. If I lose my voice again, it's someone in my house. You're going to get better. Basically anyone that was sick last week. Old people. Maybe I'll do it live on YouTube. I'll do like a randomizer. 27.9 seconds is the gap that Toro needs. It was 23 seconds. It's getting bigger, as is the task of making the top three. There is Total Wolf, not the real one. Coming up behind Wooly. He's on lap 43. Wooly moving way off the race. He let through, but really. Still racing, man. Still racing. You can catch Cologne. He can still crash. I've seen him do it. Toto Wolf is the best in rest on lap 43. He's 3 minutes behind driving. Couple of laps back. There's Randy Moore, the lead Belgian, the second placed driver, currently sitting 32 minutes behind Clarkie, who leads the way. Clarkie goes purple and puts in a 1:43.5, as if to say to Tank Bro, that's mum, baby. He's now on those soft compound tyres, and he's going quickly. So his intention isn't just to coast this home. Good evening, Patrick. All awesome. Every single person. Yeah. P1 teams have place to burn all day. They are crazy quick. Shouldn't have done. I haven't done anything to it. It's still as high as it was previously. Better? To be fair, I was jiggling around in my chair a little bit. I might have moved away from the mic. Has it improved? I hope so. Nothing on my monitor suggests it's changed. I don't know why that is, because it's still coming through very loud. Are you sure it's not at your end? Because it's all very loud here. The mic is right up by my face. Yes, it's improved, or yes, it's quiet. Stop giggling. Who's giggling? I'm not giggling. Answer the question, man. Is the sound good now? I'm right up there, man. I'm right up by the mic, so that's why I want to know if it's improved. I can't get any closer to the mic without physically shoving it into my mouth. Oh yes, thank you very much. Yeah, I don't particularly fancy shoving it into my mouth, because I just don't want to. No, you're absolutely right, Avatar. It was been a nice performance today from everyone. It's been really good from Sleepstream. Slipper, you've got to change your name, man. You have to change your name now. Your new name is Sleepstream. That's how Mexicans. You're perfect as you are, Sugar Pie. Please leave me alone, TJ. I've told you the restraining order also counts for YouTube. Anyway, moving swiftly on, we have a race to navigate our way through. We're moving into sunset here at Watkins Glen. This is the ERF special event, final stint of the Watkins Glen 8 hour. You have me for 22 more glorious laps, and then you can finally say, thank God for that. The mouthy, bald, fat Londoner has shut up. Clarkie leads the way. He's 33 seconds clear, and let's face it, putting in fastest laps at this stage of the race when he doesn't need to, laying down the gauntlet. And throughout the 4 stints, it's been very clear that this team out in the lead have been absolutely phenomenal. You guys are winding me up. Piss off, seriously, piss off. I wasn't going to swear, but you're winding me up there. I'll shut up. I hate you all, seriously. Yeah. Anyway, moving swiftly on. Randy Moore, he's done a phenomenal job. Out in second place, he's kind of kept the pace with Clarkie, because he's kept the pace with Clarkie, but it was 40 seconds when they came out, and it's been quite a difficult task to close it. I mean, you know, in the scheme of things, he's closed 8 seconds of the gap, so got it down to a 32-second gap. So he has shown good promise out there, and he's done he's doing phenomenally quick laps. But Clarkie's just been really, really, really quick, and so hard to compete with today. The whole team have to be fair. Toto Wolff, not the real one. He's the best of the rest. He's running in 3rd position, and he's a minute now clear of Toro Scatanetto. Although Toto Wolff will have to pit again before the end of this race, so the gap will come down. But I can't see how Toro's going to get himself into that top 3 unless something drastic happens. And I haven't yet seen Toto Wolff disconnect from any races. So I can't see how he's going to do it now. He's been very consistent in terms of internet power. I couldn't think of the right expression. That's probably not the right one, but I don't care. Toro running in 4th. I haven't got the same old programmed for this, TJ, unfortunately, because it was a kind of I was going to be broadcasting, but it was meant to be on the year. Long story. But no, I haven't got the soundboard set up for this. It's on my stream deck for all the other stuff. I do have a soundboard, it's just not set up for this particular broadcast, and I haven't got the time nor the inclination to put it in. And to be fair, these guys don't want to hear me playing silly little excerpts of Greta Thunberg talking about your fateful meeting that night in that alleyway in Croydon. Tank Bro is 2.4 seconds behind Toro, and could very well, we were talking about Toro potentially challenging for 3rd. He has a potential attack behind him from Tank Bro, although Tank Bro does need to pit relatively quickly in the next probably lap or 2, as you can see there. Geronimo! He is going to move up into 5th when Tank Bro goes into the pits. Now, looking at how long's left, he probably will need to pit again between now and the end of this race. I can't recall if Geronimo has put on the hard tyres yet. He's one of those I'm not sure about, and as I said, I'm not a professional broadcaster, or I would have written it down. 59 seconds is the gap to Scheckter, and he will definitely be pitting very, very soon from 7th, which will allow Jaeger, who also can't go to the end, allow Jaeger to just get ahead of him and close the gap on Geronimo. Clarkie into the pits for what is probably the last time. In fact, it's not probably, there's no probably about it. It is definitely, I don't know, no, 18 laps. Depends what he puts on. If he puts on the mediums, he's not pitting again. What does Clarkie put on his car? And the answer to that question is the softs, so he will pit again. He can't take. No, he can't. He's going to have to pit again. Probably for some more soft compound tyres. That brings Randy Moore back into this battle. Now, if they both need to pit again, is this battle a bit closer than we thought it might have been previously? That's the beauty of differing pit strategies, is that it's this point in the race, and we are about 19 laps away. Math says we're 19 laps away from the end of this race. And it's not just the end of this 2-hour stint, it's the end of this 8-hour Watkins Glen extravaganza here on a Saturday afternoon. Now, does Randy Moore, despite having a half-second penalty, does this put him in a good position? He's going to have to pit again, but with Clarkie on the softs, so is he. The question is, how long can Randy Moore stay out on those softs? When he goes in, does he get it right on fuel? Does he then put himself in a really, really good position to have a little go? And Scheckter still get involved there and wants to unlap himself. Every right to do so. But is this holding Randy Moore up? Or is Randy Moore happy to sit in there and just take a little bit of slipstream, save his tyres, save his fuel, just that little bit? Interesting, because there is a race on, and this race is between Jaeger and Scheckter, and this is how that battle looks. There is the Italian driver just ahead, 800ths of a second up the road from Jaeger. Jaeger looking pretty racy right now. He's really having a go at the back of this Italian driver. I think it's going to be a close finish, you know. I think Clarkey and Randy Moore actually might be a lot closer than we think. And it could be a side by. Imagine after 8 hours of racing, it's a photo finish across the line. That we have to go to the stewards. And, no, we don't. The game will tell us. But we can pretend that we went to the racing VAR and the stewards' inquiry to find out who crossed the line. So the gap's still under 1 second. Now, if Scheckter is a little bit quicker than who's that in front of him? Whoever's holding him up at the moment. I can't remember. Oh, Randy Moore, of course. Randy Moore holding him up. Then that pushes him into the loving embrace of Jaeger as Tank Bro from 6th place into the pits. And he's coming back out of the pits. Is this the last time he does that? Is he coming out on medium tyres to finish this race? And the answer to that question is a resounding not. He is on the softs. He will definitely needs to pit again. He's on lap 48 of 68 of your finest racing laps. But that is Clarkey in the lead. And that's the view from the front of Clarkey's car. He's riding off into the sunset. 2.1 seconds clear of Randy Moore. Fastest lap of the race. He's in the lead. He's got an empty track ahead of him. He's got a little bit of Chris de Burgh on the radio. A little bit of a boogie woogie. And in little more than 18 laps, or what will be now 17 laps, if it all stays as he is, he will win the race. And I think you are... Randy Moore used the hards. If that's the case, then for want of a better expression, he's MF'd because those hard tyres are slow. And we know Clarkey's already used them because he started on those hard compound tyres and gave up track position early doors, specifically to get rid of those horrible hard compound tyres. It doesn't bring Toto Wolff, not the real one, into action because Toto Wolff is 2 seconds back. They could do, but you've got to bear in mind that the rule requirement, I believe, is outlap, race lap, in lap minimum for those hard compound tyres. There is a question mark over some drivers having done it that, because I certainly know, certainly in stint 1, there was a number of drivers that only did outlap in lap or outlap finish lap. But there we go. So Toto Wolff, not the real one, in the pits. This could be his last pit stop, depending on what he does, of course. There is a Toro. The gap between him now and Geronimo is 18.5 of your finest British seconds, despite the fact that one is a Belgian and one is Italian. Tank Bro is in 6th. He's 12.4 seconds behind Geronimo, with a 48-second gap over Scheckter, or 10.55, the second Italian driver. Jaeger, 1.7 seconds behind, still trying to find a way to catch and then take Scheckter. That's his opportunity, because Scheckter into the pits for what might be his last stop. Jaeger will, I think he will need to stop again. He's on those medium compound tyres. So finish lap is okay. So here's my problem with that, Slippy, and I'm going to be brutally honest. If the rule is out lap, fast lap, in lap, but you can put it on at lap 68 and do the final lap. So yeah, but even then, so end of 67. So if you can do the end of 67, you're not doing out lap, in lap, fast lap. You're doing out lap, in lap, end lap, and you're not necessarily going fast on that last lap. So for me, I think that should have been clarified, because you've got to bear in mind that a number of people have done a strategy based on out lap, fast lap, in lap. And I think strategies would have changed significantly. And I think you would have seen a lot more people doing that at the end of lap 67 had it been clear. For me, I certainly think we might have considered that as an option. You correct me if you think I'm wrong. But yeah. Pit to pit is okay. So it wasn't one racing lap. You could have just gone in, put it on, gone around and changed it again. Okay. Well, I mean, well, I won't name names, or we were told categorically earlier this week. Okay, yeah, we were told categorically. Well, to be fair, it was Pony that told me you had to do out lap, racing lap, in lap. But we were actually told categorically this week by someone involved in this race that we had to do 5 racing laps, as you know, because we based a strategy around that. And we'll be having words with him separately outside of this conversation. Moving swiftly on, because let's keep it light. Let's keep it light. There's Wooly. He's at the back of the pack. He's 1 minute 25 seconds behind his teammate from Canada, and that is Colombe. 10 seconds the gap to Johnny Waffle. Is Colombe in a position to retake 13th place from Johnny Waffly Waffle? Because if that's the case, then we could have a little back marker battle going on here. And who doesn't love a bit of a back marker battle at the end of 8 hours of racing? 28 seconds is the gap between Johnny Waffle and Apex Magnet. I think that battle is done. For a while, they were really duking that out. Although, they both still need to pit, so it's kind of a moot point. It's really about how much fuel Apex Magnet puts in now. There's Wiggy in 11th. He is now 2.5 behind his teammate Bendit. Closing the gap, 44.6. His fastest lap, Bendit, was in the 46s. He's now on those medium tyres in those low to mid 47s majoritively. That's not words, is it? I don't care. It's a new word. Can that bird from Countdown stick it immediately in the Oxford English Dictionary? Schichter is 19.7 behind Gianni, the Belgian. Is Bender able to close that gap? The Schichter has pit. He does need to pit again. We know that those soft compound tyres do not do 18 laps. He's not 12th. He's 11th. The answer to that question I don't know. There are cars ahead that do need to pit, to be fair. One of them being a Gianni, so he will probably catch him soon. I think it's just where the pits are slightly out of sync, Patrick. 8.1 seconds to Jaeger, the one and only German on the racetrack, and he is 55 seconds behind Tank Bro. That's a battle that's not going to get fought anytime soon, I do not think. 5.4 to Geronimo. Can Tank Bro catch him? He's on those soft compound tyres, you can see, and Geronimo on those medium compound tyres, but significantly more fuel. In a minute, I'm going to shut down the tyre and fuel data till the end of the race to keep you all guessing. I'm going to know what it is, and I'm not going to tell you because I roll. I might let you see after they've finished. Toro Scatenato from Italia. He is 19.7 seconds ahead of Geronimo. Yeah, I kind of... Thanks, math, man. Yeah, no, thanks for that slipping up. To be fair, I was going to start to do the math pretty soon, but I'm glad you did it for me. Toto Wolf, not the real one. He is right up behind Randy Moore, but not for the reason you suspect, because they are 2 laps apart. He is trying to unlap himself, though. Could he possibly unlap himself twice? He's going to unlap himself now, as we see Randy Moore diving into the pits for what will be his final pit stop of the race. At 11.2 seconds behind Clarky from Scunny. If he's not from... seriously, if he's not from Scunthorpe, I hate you all. Every single one of you. If he is Clarky, I'm so sorry, man. So sorry. He does need to pit again. I can't see how he can take this to the end of the race. He's not going to take this to the end of the race on those soft compound tyres. So it's going to be a Randy Moore Clarky showdown for the race to the line. Clarky has kind of had the upper hand pretty much the whole race. And he's currently... Well, he was 11 seconds ahead when Randy Moore went into the pits. The question is going to be the amount of fuel that goes on board for Clarky when he goes in. He's the fastest man on the racetrack, of course, with a 43.4, and very, very likely to be bringing it home for his racing team. So as it stands at the moment, It is the Medway guys leading the way. The team that was Nick, Mike, Clarkey and Welsh Great. And there is Clarkey bringing it home for them. In second, we've got the GTSV number 2 team of Lucas Mass, Lucky Sissio, Kevin, and of course Randy Moore bringing it home in second place at the moment. In third place, we have the team of Loose Moose Racing, Lusigousemuse, Ishmael, Nuke, The Truth. No one can handle The Truth in Sector 1. I say it every time he races. And of course, not the real one, Toto Wolf, currently running in third. And that's a great start. If you consider as well that The Truth qualified pretty much right at the back of the pack in Sector 1. So this Loose Moose Racing team have taken that McLaren 650S right up to the front of the racetrack. Toro Scatenado is racing for... that's the DC team. Why are we even questioning it? How many DC teams have we got? He is in... he must be DC Team 1, because DC Team 2 has different people as secretary in that one. It's DC Team 1, it's Pastina, Baza Resistance, and Toro instead of, I think, Sam. I don't think Sam raced today. Geronimo running in fifth, and that's Tank Bro right behind him. Let's watch this fight. Oh, that's actually not a fight, because they are... it got really excited for a minute, and then I realised that... Although it is the fight between those two. Full track position. And Tank Bro making a move. He's going to have the inside line into the chicane. Does he make it stick? Hell yes he does. He gets that move done. Tank Bro starting to show some phenomenal pace. And for a minute I wasn't even sure they were on the same lap. But absolutely they were. And you can see Geronimo trying to fight back. But nothing you can do when Tank Bro has that inside line into that inner loop. And he makes that move and makes it stick. And moves up into fifth. So let's talk about Tank Bro, shall we? Tank Bro is racing for... Which team is Tank Bro in? I should recognise the liveries by now, but to be honest, I haven't really paid that much attention. What car's he in? He's in a McLaren, isn't he? Oh, that'll be Team Glen, won't it? Of course it is. Team Glen, made up of Bob's your uncle, Tank Bro the Vest, and Lil Nicky, who... But Little Nicky was actually phenomenal in that stint number 3. Geronimo for GTSV, GTSV 1. That was Midgley, Adinsik, Kiki, and now Geronimo. I don't even recognise any of those names. Maybe other people raced in their place. Who knows? 7th place is Jaeger, and Jaeger is, of course, racing for who? For DCT. No, he's not racing for DCT. We're not talking about it. For Full Send Racing. Made up of Slugsy, Speed Hunter. Speed Hunter was phenomenal in that first stint. Really put the pressure on those MRL guys out in front. And the Ghost, and now of course Jaeger, representing them for Full Send. Schechter, we know, is racing for DCT 2. It was Dan, Incredible, and Nicky, and now Schechter currently in 8th place. Wiggy, we know, is racing for Black Flag, the greatest racing team in the history of racing teams. His team of Stormfly, Jay, and Knudsen have got him up into 9th position, and now he's got to just bring it home from 9th, currently 24 seconds behind Schechter. Behind him, Gianni. Also from GTSV, that's team number 3. That was Senna, Taizai, and Netta, or Netta Bass, running in 10th position. Bendit, also from Black Flag, his team of Slipstream, Bendit, City, and GMAC. They're currently running in 11th. Apex Magnet for MRL2, made up of Shane, CCFC, and Bite the Roses, who was your glorious host in that last race. And they're in that BMW M6. Although it looks like he's in the GTR, to be fair. Is he racing for the other MRL team? Oh no, sorry, they were only GTR. It's the other team in the M6, the other MRL team, including Johnny Waffle right there. They're in that BMW M6, Johnny Waffle Golf, Bad Omen and Freddy. And then we've got the two ART guys, or two team ART, and that is we've got a Woolly Hockers and Webstons in one, and the other of Colum, Wayno, No Hassle, and Urban Fire. There we go. So that's all the full team rundowns that I probably should have memorised before I started doing this, but chose not to. Little Welsh Dragon, Lil Nicky, and Jeff FM Vest. And also you got Wiggy, he's Welsh as well, don't forget. So it's a massive Welsh contingent out there. They should be allowed to have the Welsh flag rather than the British flag there. Right, let's there we go. So that is Clarkey into the pits. And this is where we see where this battle for first does bring us. There's Randy Moore. He's just coming up to turn 9. No, turn 8. Or wherever it is, I can't remember. It's 11 turns, isn't it? So 8, 9, 10, 11. Oh, no, 9. No, that was 8, no, turn 10, sorry. I can't freaking remember. 8, 9, 10. Yeah, it's turn 8 to turn 9 now. Pay attention to the little map up there, mate. He's got another turn to do now. Clarkey just heading out. He's going slowly, agonisingly slowly from his perspective. Here comes Randy Moore. What's the gap? Remember, his tyres are up to temperature. His car is up to speed. There's Clarkey, round turn 1. There's Randy Moore coming into turn 1. The gap is still 10, 9 seconds, 9.5 seconds. So Randy Moore's got some little work to do. I say little work, he's got a lot of work because there's only 9 laps remaining. He's got 9 laps to basically take a second a lap out of the fastest man on the racetrack. And I can tell you, there's 2 hopes, Bob Hope and no hope. Unless, of course, something drastically bad happens to Clarkey. And, of course, I don't believe in the commentator's curse. I believe in commentator's foresight, and I don't think he's going to crash. Toto Wolff, not the real one. He is lap 57, a couple of laps back. So you're going to find him finishing somewhere around lap 66-ish. Currently running in 3rd, and comfortably so at the moment, to be fair. He's very consistent lap times, 45 mids, 45 lows. And once you got there, and to be fair, we do have to give these guys credit because, you know, lots of credit to Clarkey, obviously, for bringing the race home, but those guys were out there from the very outset. Toto Wolff is in a team that essentially qualified right at the back at the beginning of this race. Now, remember, we've had no disconnections from this competition. We've had that everybody has been in full in from the start. We started with 15. No, we didn't. We started with, yeah, we did. We started with 15. We are finishing with 15. And there's not more you can ask for that after 8 hours of racing. If you've been doing something stupidly different, which you shouldn't have been, and you're just joining us, this is the ERF special event at Watkins Glen, the Watkins Glen 8 hours. We start to descend into darkness here in New York. 3.5 miles a lap, 5.5 kilometres, and there for the leaders, Clarkey and Randy Moore, separated by just 8 seconds, and that's already 1 second that Randy Moore has taken out of Clarkey on that lap. They're separated by 8 seconds. They are 8 laps away from the end of this 8-hour race here. Toto Wolff in 3rd. Geronimo is in 4th place. He's 40 seconds back. And with Tagbro just coming out of the pits now, the gap is big enough that I don't think Tagbro actually losing a position there to Toro of Italy for DCT. He's 15.7 seconds behind Geronimo. I can't say it anymore. Geronimo! That's the one. 15 seconds behind him. 6.7 seconds to Tagbro. He's on nice, fresh tyres. There may well have been. To be honest, Jay, I wasn't really paying attention. No, I think there actually was it stint 1 or stint 2? No, I think you're right. Stint 1, there was a disconnection. Yes, sorry, I was being asked for money by my missus and then completely pretending I couldn't hear her. No, I'm just going to check those money. So, yes, so 6.9 seconds is the gap between these two. Right, you're right. Okay, so I thought I'd heard about this connection. I was thinking, actually, was there? But I think you're right, because didn't we have Rosie starting quite like in stint 2 or something ridiculous? Anyway, Schechter is 1.5 minutes back from Tank Bro. He's not likely in the last few laps to catch him. Jaeger 12 seconds back. possibility of catching. If I go a little bit quiet, it's only because I'm transferring my missus some money because we're having a Chinese, and she's poor. Well, she's not poor, she just pretends to be. Bear with me. Hold the line, callers, because I'm really hungry. It's because of my daughter's birthday, so we're having Chinese for my daughter's birthday. I don't normally splash out like that. I'm normally much too tight to be paying out for Chinese. Hold the line, caller. I don't want to put too many zeros on the end of the amount I'll send her, because that's when it goes horribly wrong for me. Let me just double check I've sent the right amount. There we go. Done and dusted. Moving swiftly on, Jaeger in 8th position. He is 18 seconds clear of Gianni from Belgium. Then we've got 22 seconds back to Bendit, who's coming in for his final pit stop of the race. That should allow the other black flag driver, Star Group, to move on through into 10th position. Wiggy is 29 seconds back from Gianni. He's going to the end of the race, Gianni also, but he's on the hard compound tyres, Gianni. Is there a possibility of closing that down? I'm not sure with the time left that's going to happen. Bendit on those medium, I think he's coming off the mediums. He should be going on to the softs now. There's only a few laps remaining. Apex Magnet is a couple of 3 laps back, so he's not going to catch Bendit anytime soon. He's 43 seconds ahead of Johnny Waffle, who is 17 ahead of Klum. He's not going to catch him now. And there's Wooly bringing up the back of the pack. Last, but of course, by no means least, Art Wooly is in 15th position. There is your race leader. And 7 to go. Is 7 laps remaining for your race leader. The gap has opened back out to 9.4 seconds. He is making sure of this. Randy Moore, fantastic performance. Scully in a hurry. Doesn't rhyme, Slippy, or Sleepy, as you're now called. I suppose it does if you're a rapper, but no, it doesn't work. The Scully Rocket, I quite like that. The Scully Rocket. Scunthorpe, lovely place. I'm always saying how beautiful it is in Scunthorpe and how brilliant it is, and how I've never ever met anyone that got a rash when they were in Scunthorpe. Clarkey 9.6 ahead of Randy Moore, and of course it's Toto Wolff. He's not the real one, but he is really in that final podium position in 3rd place, and 56 seconds clear of Toro. This is the stage of the race. Sunny is a honey. Ish. I think now, we've got a potential battle here. Tank by 3.7 behind Toro. He's on the soft compound tyres. Toro on the mediums. There is a potential to catch him there. There is a potential battle for 4th place between Toro and Tank Bro. Don't count that out. I'll keep a little eye on that. I'll probably miss it. I usually do. But I'll try and keep a little eye on that battle, or potential battle. He can see him. This is the thing. You're sitting there, you're on lap 60 of 68. You know you're probably going to finish in about 6 laps' time. This is the view from your car. That guy on the racetrack is the guy you are racing. That is a potential gain in position up ahead. You're on a soft compound tyres and you are racing till the end. I promised to cover that up, didn't I? And I didn't. I have done now. See, it gets so exciting, and I get so excited and I forget to press buttons. Right, but there it is, 2.9 seconds, 3 seconds, that's the battle. I want to make sure everyone gets their last bit of airtime before we follow that, and of course we've got to watch Clarkey, Randy Moore, and not the real one, cross that finish line. Geronimo! Had to go big because I might not hear it again. I was hoping to be able to do that when I saw him make an overtake, but I didn't. He's 15 seconds behind Tank Bro. Not anywhere near the kind of pace. He's in those 47s. He's got Jaeger, a minute behind him. He's doing the 44s to get 3 seconds a lap on him, but there's not going to be enough time to get this done as New York descends into darkness at Watkins Glen. Schichter, 21.4 seconds back from Jaeger. He's on the soft compound tyres. Jaeger also on the softs. It's going to be a difficult ask now. There's a battle there potentially. Gianni on the hards, 1.9 behind Scheckter. Can he get any kind of pace out of those hard compound tyres in that Mercedes AMG? Bear in mind, he's up against a very, very good car. Is Scheckter. He's in the AMG as well. So it's going to be a difficult battle, I think, at this stage for that to happen. Wiggy on those soft compound tyres. Who was that? That was, I think, that was an Apex Magnet, I think. So Wiggy, 25 seconds back. It's going to take an error for something to happen. There, he's 24 ahead of Bendit. So the two Black Flag boys coming home in 10th and 11th. We're proud of you, man. We're proud of you. Loving your work. Apex Magnet into the pits and back out of the pits. It's essentially a free pit stop because he is 100 years. And Colum is ahead of Johnny Waffle. How did that happen? Well, Johnny Waffle went into the pits. Colum pit earlier. No, he didn't. He pit a lap after. So I think at the end of this lap, we might see that Johnny Waffle has made a little error. No, it's another pit stop. So he's just coming out of the pits. So Colum's made that position. He's 12 seconds clear. Colum could have rescued an extra position here, right in the dying depths of this race. Bragging rights for ART. 1 minute 23 back. There's Wooly. Johnny Waffle in 14th position for MRL, of course. Back to this battle. This is what I wanted to look at, actually. It's down to half a second. It's on like Donkey Kong. That wasn't me. That was my American brother, UrbanPyrate. Genuinely couldn't think of anything. So he's there, Tag Bro, tucked nicely up behind the Italian driver, looking for a way through. Toro is going to defend this like it is his life, and his life depends upon it. And you can see the darkness descending on Watkins Glen as we move into the final few laps of this race. Toto Wolff, not the real one, in the pits, not really going to be affected by these two, as Tag Bro goes side by side with Toro up into 4th place. What a time to move up through the field as he takes 4th from Toro Scatinato after so much time in 4th. Toro drops out and Tag Bro shows why he had that fastest lap for so long. That was a phenomenal overtake, and I think I've missed the overtake with the replay just because I was talking so long. I actually did. Let's get rid of that. That was a phenomenal performance from him, and that's all change. Can Toro come back at him? He's in that slipstream. Bear in mind he's on the medium compound tyres. It's going to be harder to find a way through. Tank Bro doing solid low 44s. Toro with 45 sixes. Going to be a difficult job to do. Toto Wolff went into the pits. It was a lovely move. Don't you love it? After 8 hours of racing, they're still bringing it. Toto Wolff in 3rd. He had a free pit stop. He used it. He's on those hard compound tyres. He's going to get them used and done and out of the way. Randy Moore, 12 seconds back. Has he used hard compound tyres? I hear you cry. I don't know. I can't remember. I'm going full cami. I can't remember, Jeff. I don't know. Did he? Maybe. I know Clarkey did because he started on them. As Clarkey starts, lap 66 of 68 laps. We are down to the last 6 minutes, 7 minutes, 8 minutes, 9 minutes. No, it's not. Hang on. 2, 4, 6. Last 6 minutes of this race. 6 hours ago. 6 hours ago. No, it's not 8 hours ago, in fact. We started this. See, I can't even count. So excited. Can't even. 8 hours ago, we started this little foray. This little event. Call it little. It's been a massive event. This massive event. 15 teams with 4 drivers each. Most of them 4 drivers each. Some with 3. But mostly 4 drivers each. And I'm not doing the math because I can't be bothered. It's 40, 60 drivers. There we go. 15 teams, 60 odd drivers. 60 drivers. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of racing laps here around Watkins Glen. 8 hours of racing. Pony Boy introduced us to the action. We saw it go off from there. Nice bit of qualifying. Nice bit of racing. Then we moved into Jaeger, who is currently running in 7th place. Brought us all the action from stint number 2. More action afoot during stint number 2. Roses steps in. Didn't have a great race, stint number 2. Steps in after hosting the second lobby to twitch us some advertising riddled footage of a round of stint number 3. And then we moved on, and then you got this baldy weirdo for the last 2 hours who's just basically shouted obscenities at Scunthorpe for 2 hours, and some Welsh people, and probably offended some Belgians and some Italians and maybe an American or Canadian or two as well. But there is your race leader completing lap 67, completing lap 66 to start lap 67. If you didn't know what we were doing, this is the ERF special event from Watkins Glen. You're watching it on Black Flag Racing TV, but you will find the footage available to rewatch anytime on the ERF YouTube channel. I will send it across to them this evening in a downloadable format, and it will be available in all good bookstores, and it'll be on Netflix as well. Do you imagine that? Imagine a Netflix show about the ERF or about any sim racing team. If there's any screenwriters out there, let's get together, man. Let's get something down. Let's get it down. Let's go and pitch it to Netflix. Drive to Scunthorpe, we'll call it. The thing is, Ray, is I've got lots of commitments. To be fair, I did actually see someone sent me the call out for comms for RA, but you need comms more than I have time to do them. And we've got some quite exciting stuff happening at Black Flag Racing TV at the minute. I know you're thinking, Luke, and thinking, well, he hasn't broadcast for ages. He used to broadcast every day. I know that's because things are changing a little bit and stuff. So I don't know. Look, I'm prepared to have a chat with the guys at RA if they want, and we'll see what we can do. But there's no guarantees, and obviously I can't do 7 days a week. I'm hugely committed. I'm in a committed relationship to comms for other people. Right, here we go. We're moving on. We're going to focus now. We don't need to focus on that battle because Tank Bro got it done. He's 7.1 seconds ahead. There's no other battles on this racetrack of note. Gianni is in 9th. He's 11 seconds behind. Scheckter, Wiggy in 10th. Bendit 11th. Apex Magnet 36 seconds ahead of Colum. He's ahead of Johnny Waffle, and Wooly is back in 10th place. So here we go, final lap of the race. That is a Race Asylum's Clarkey racing for MRL. He is 40.5 seconds clear here at Watkins Glen. He is bringing it home for that MLA team. The Midway Racing team. Let's get that right. Coming home in first. Lap 68 of 68. And let's be fair, this team have made it look easy. He is absolutely smashing it. Coming down now, just a few corners left. You're absolutely right, Slipstream. We'll blow up ERF in a minute. Let's blow up Clarkey first, because here he comes, flashing those lights, bringing that GTR home, and opening up the gap to boot on the way to doing so. Just a couple of corners left, and Clarkey will lift aloft his hands in celebration, shouting, "I am the winner!" And then he'll go and kiss his wife, and his kids will be ever happy. He'll brag at school about how quick he is, or something along those lines. Maybe it's a little dramatic. But here we go. Round the final corner he goes, and on to the power for the last time. Cross the go bowling sign. Just a few yards left, and Clarkey is your winner here for the ERF special event, 8 hours at Watkins Glen. What a finish from Clarkey, and to be fair, dominated that. Absolutely dominated that from beginning. Is it still there? What's going on? The comments should still be there. You're winding me up again, aren't you? Randy Moore, there he is in second. Don't know what happened with the mic. I can't believe the mic has gone because it's switched on. Maybe I was a little bit too loud and it shut me up. So Randy Moore comes home in second. Toto Wolff currently running in third. He'll bring it home in third place. That's absolutely fantastic finish from Toto Wolff there. A couple of laps down, but brings it home in third. Tank Bro, he is in fourth position. 10.8 seconds is his gap ahead of Toto. Toto coming home in fifth. Let me move the mic away a little bit because I think I might have broke it. 25 seconds ahead of Geronimo. There he is coming home in sixth. Scheckter came home in seventh. Jay got home in eighth. Gianni ninth. Wiggy coming home in 10th. 11th is Bendit. Apex Magnet in 12th. Column in 13th. Jolly Waffle in 14th. Woolly home in 15th place. There we have it. I don't know, maybe I was too loud and my mic just went, shut up, you baldy, shouty weirdo. That's probably what happened. Who knows? But there we go. So, I've got to say, my driver, right, I'll tell you what we'll do first. Let's do the full classified results, like a proper professional would. There's your winner, Clarkey in that GTR Nismo, brings it home for that the Medway Racing team with a 1:43.4 fastest lap. Randy Moore home in second. Toto Wolff, great finish from him in the 650S. 2 laps down in third. Tank Bro, great overtake at the end there. Gets a penalty at the end, but still ahead of Toro Scatanato in the GTR. Geronimo in 6th, or Geronimo in 6th. Schechter in 7th. Jager was in 8th place. Gianni in the Mercedes AMG in 9th. Wiggy in 10th in the 911. Bendit just behind him, also in the 911. Black Flag for the win. Have it. Apex Magnet behind them in the GTR. Art Column made a move on Johnny Waffle at the end there in that 911. Johnny Waffle in 14th. Woolly coming home in the F-Type in 15th position. My driver of the day, I mean, it's difficult to pick a driver of the day, isn't it? Because, there's been a lot of drivers out there. I'm going to go for team of the day. And, as much as I love Black Flag and they are my team, they're obviously my favourite team, but my team of the day has got to go to I forgot what they're called. What are they called? Loose Moose Racing. That's the one. Loose Moose. Ishmael, Nuke, Toto, and Detruserum. Detruse didn't qualify well. Started near the back of the grid, but an absolutely phenomenal finish from them to take third on the podium. It's been some great racing. Genuinely, I mean, I obviously I see a lot of races. I do a lot of broadcasting and stuff. And generally there's one or two little instances in the race where you think, oh, that's a Stewardy thing. But I genuinely can't think of anything across this entire 8 hours where I think the stewards have to look at anything. And that is absolute credit, firstly, to the drivers. The 60 drivers out there have been absolutely phenomenal, very clean, very fair, very fast. But also to ERF themselves, it's very well organised. It's I've broadcast and we've raced in some shoddily managed series. I'm not going to mention any out loud, but those of you that know who I'm talking about. But this is the other end of the spectrum. This is the end of the spectrum that is well managed, well organised, pretty clear. There's a little bit of ambiguity over the hard tires, but it doesn't matter. But yeah, it's been brilliant, and well done to all the guys involved with VRF for getting this off the ground. I'll tell you what, this is going to go stratospheric. All of the broadcast team and everyone involved is doing an absolutely phenomenal job. I'm glad they let me shout for 2 hours. But probably never let me back again. I'm sure I've sworn about 100 times and not even realised. Nothing more left for me to say really than thank you for spending 2 hours of your time with me. I've been UrbanPyrate from Black Flag Racing TV. This has been the 8 hours of Watkins Glen with the Endurance Racing Federation. It has been emotional.